Ah! Welcome to goddamn old beer thunder. This is gonna be the goddamn old fifth blue moon and the for the night beer thunder. We're gonna be doing some drinking the beer and gonna be doing the war thunder thing and the war thunder sim. Talking about the SU-27 SM and the goddamn old brand new battle rating brackets that are gonna change everything. Did the new battle rating brackets change everything? No, I don't think so. That's gonna be the whole entire summation of the goddamn old video. You know, because the dang old new brackets didn't matter because a little bit too little, too late. Just ain't nobody interested in this dang old game mode anymore. This is Beer Thunder, and I'm Squish, and I'm drinking the fifth Blue Moon here, and I'm here to talk about the plane that has aged like fine wine, the SU-27SM, and the brand new brackets that were, added, a week and a half ago to War Thunder Sim, and whether or not they actually fucking matter. And the answer is no, they don't. They don't matter at all because in the past 6 to 7 months, the War Thunder Sim player base has basically been obliterated, where the popularity of the game mode has dropped by 50 to 60%. Like, people don't enjoy playing this. The new brackets, really what they do isn't create like these new like ecosystems where fun and exciting things happen. They just create these ecosystems where one thing gets to be really good for a day and everyone else just doesn't want to play against it. In all honesty, what I've seen in the past week from the new 13.3 and 13.7 brackets is when 13.3 is the top, when the SU-34, the SU-27 regular, the Russian planes are at the top of the bracket, everyone that plays the blue side, everyone that plays America and whatnot, they go down to the F-18 versus MiG-23 bracket. You're basically taking a much smaller player base than we had a year ago and splitting it into smaller sections, where this kind of new change is basically amounts to a Band-Aid. It doesn't really change anything. The fact that it took over like a year for this to be generated, or 9 months or whatever, means that we just don't have the number of players to draw from. And all of the people that were like on the sidelines, the Morvrins and the other people, I guess, I can't memorize all of the names or state them all, they're not coming back to this. You don't see 13.3 days where people are breaking out their Tornado F4 and be like, finally, the Tornado F4 late is a good plane to play. We're going to go in and we're going to play the Tornado F4. Because what Gaijin has done with the new bracket is also taken the F-16s, slapped some AMRAAMs on the early ones, so the ADF is no longer mid, it's actually good. It is, for all intents and purposes, as good as, slightly better than the F-16C in an air-to-air role, minus the AIM-9Ms at a lower BR. And even then, that's not really enough to attract people to this. And I think this really ends up being just kind of like a fundamental problem with active radar homing missile gameplay, with kind of like the balance of power of Sim. Because this is an old game. This is probably 4 months ago, where I joined a game against Nimble Target. He's got like 14 kills, and as soon as I join, he's gone. He's like, the game's no longer interesting, and I'm going to show up and I'm going to shoot a bunch of people down, and then a bunch of other people are not going to no longer find the game interesting, because fundamentally, the biggest problem with Sim is at the end of the day, it really is kind of a power trip, and if you're not able to power trip and win everything, then why play? At the same time, Nimble probably did leave because being British, time zones, etc., etc. So I don't want to like just make this video like pointed at him, but like I've seen this happen enough where people don't want to play against other people because all of a sudden they don't do well anymore because it sucks. Because that means that you go from being a 10-1 KD player and winning everything easily, like where you have to like actually lock in and treat the game completely differently. At the same time as we get these new brackets, there's not really a lot of planes that are really going to shine here. The SU-27, the regular one with the R-27ERs, really, in comparison to the MiG-29 SMT, and the Su-34, the utility that those planes bring to the matchmaker, especially the Su-34, just because it can do kind of everything at the same time, although flight model, absolutely horrendous, kind of, like, doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter because a lot of the times you're facing people that have been playing 12.7, 13.0 for the past year and a half, year or so, just more or less uncontested, where you just don't, you don't see anything. And it means that there's kind of two things going on here at the same time, because the War Thunder Sim community, the active part of it, has actually, like, really improved at the game. The kind of core group of players that play top tier and play it a lot are actually really good at it. At the same time, the people that are more casual are more casual and even less educated than they've ever been, because it's never been easier to find your cultivated matchmaker where I get basically what amounts to a hug box. And that's rather, I don't know if it's unfortunate, because I want to say that it is, and it'd be easy to frame it that way, but honestly, a lot of people, as soon as you contest them, they want like just enough contention where it feels like when they win that it was earned, but they don't want too much contention where they consistently win and lose about the same, or even lose more than they win, which is, like, that's a big problem. The other big problem with Sim is, like, the economy is absolutely horrendous. You are not incentivized to learn in this game mode at all, especially in the random game mode of, losing 30,000 SL every time you have to respawn. It's just not good. And it means that in spite of this kind of meager attempt to fix everything, or to fix some things, it's too late, and also just doesn't matter. It just literally doesn't matter. This is especially true when you realize that within a week or so of introducing these new battle rating brackets, that Gaijin has somehow managed to make it impossible to create custom games and create brand new sim lobbies with, maps that people want to play and matchups that people want to play, where currently, as I make this video, as I make this commentary, the dedicated matchmaker in Sim is basically completely mixed, where every nation is on every side. And that's, like, a thing that I think pretty much everyone in Sim doesn't like dealing with. It's one of the more kind of, like, annoying aspects. It's suitable for top tier. You can use IFF and all that, but, like, most people that get into this game mode don't want to deal with purely randomized, potentially symmetrical matches. It's really rather boring. That's why I'm having to use old footage for this, because I can't find anything right now that I can play at 13.7 that isn't just 4 versus 3 on some tiny, horrible World War II map. And that means that I'm going to use this footage to have an excuse to delete it from my hard drive, because it's been sitting here. I was going to do something with it at one point, and then I was like, I don't know. It's going to be like, yeah, okay, yeah, and no, we'll use it for this. So it means that although I'm talking about the Su-27 being pretty darn good for its 13.7 matchmaker, I'm just using it against Rafales and everything else, because it's really the only thing you can play. It's really the only chance that I've had to really take it out and enjoy it. And it's not really, I wouldn't say that is unfortunate. Like, I have reached the point where I actually like the plane. I like what they have done with it. Do I think that it is accurate with how they have taken the turn rate and moved the turn rate up like a degree per second over, like, what the manual says? No. And do I think they could fix it? Yes. Is there evidence to fix it? Sort of, yes. The Su-27 SM and the Su-27 flight model video, though, is something that is incredibly hard to make. Like, let me explain how horrible this process has been. Basically, when it comes to other planes, I have, like, 1 or 2 coefficient of lift to coefficient of drag diagrams. I have a couple of different sources. I have some public stuff and whatnot. I probably have more sources for the Su-27 than anything else. I also probably have more conflicting sources for the Su-27 than anything else. Like, I have 3, maybe 4 different CLCD diagrams for this plane, and none of them match up. And the ones that I was initially using and did the math for and trying to get the actual documented performance to match like the stuff the diagram should put out versus what the math should put out has been horrendous. It's been horrible. That means that although my schizophrenic spreadsheet of Excel started with SU-27, I'm covering other things first because this is one that I'm gonna have to come back to, and this is one that is in the same boat as the MiG-29, but even worse, where there's the potentiality of like, oh, the plane's underperforming, or the plane is perfectly accurate, or it's accurate in some ways, inaccurate in others, and everything else around it is overperforming. And it's an entire nightmare. But that's not this video. This video is kind of about gameplay, or supposed to be. But as far as gameplay is concerned, we have reached a point where top tier sim, kind of everything, because we rotate through the same 5 maps, the same situations over and over again, where there's not a lot of variety here. There's not a lot to learn beyond what we already know, that I think a lot of people have kind of given up on it. I think a lot of people either realize that the skill level in the game has progressed beyond what they're capable of, where they run into skilled players enough times that getting topped down by R-77s or Micas or whatever missile of the day is discouraging to them. But also we've reached the point where even experienced players don't really want to play against each other for the most part, or to a certain extent, because it becomes kind of the same thing. If me and Simply play against each other and we're both playing the game normally, we'll probably kill each other the same amount of times. I think he'll probably kill me probably 2-1 actually, because I'm lazy as hell, to be honest. At the same time, if I lock in and go into ultimate rat mode and turn my radar off and plan my whole entire gameplay around blowing him up, that means that his counter to that is turning his radar off and planning his whole entire gameplay around blowing me up, which is interesting. Sure, but we've done it enough that it's not really a lot of variety to it. Like, we know how this plays out, and that means that because we're rotating through the same set of maps, the same set of planes, the same core gameplay, that a lot of us have really just gotten bored. I think we've reached the point where some guys are playing just for the sake of being able to look at the kill feed and look at big number on the board, where this next patch doesn't look much better than the previous patches because of this next patch. Wow, Britain's going to get an F-18. That's going to change nothing. It's going to change nothing. The F-18 is worse than the Eurofighter in pretty much every single way except for Ma-10 AMRAAMs. And guess what? Ma-10 AMRAAMs in the F-18 was not a meta-defining feature in the previous patches. Just because you put some British person behind it in this next patch is not going to make it meta-defining. Now, with the new brackets, maybe if it's at 13.7 or whatever, I don't know what the F-18s are at specifically, but maybe they'll have a chance to shine. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think we've reached the point where, as a game mode, especially in totality of kind of overall players, Sim's not going to get any development whatsoever. And I don't see the Sim player population increasing until we get brand new next generation IR missiles that are basically the fuck you-inator 9000, where wow, you got an IR lock and you got a kill right away. Wow, you're so good. Wow, it's awesome. You played the best plane in the game and then you won. That was it. That's literally it. That's kind of like, in a lot of ways, I think this new top tier meta is worse than the Gripen meta. And the reason that I think that it might be worse isn't necessarily because overall that it's worse, because I think overall it's more balanced than it's ever been, at least since the MiG-29 was the top dog versus the F-16, which was like almost the top dog. I think there is value in people being able to see the ways that they lose too. Like, I think it's a way different to lose a fight against a MiG-29 that outmaneuvers you, pulls in, and then shoots you with a gun, as opposed to, I didn't maintain the perfect notch angle for long enough where I had the beep-a-doop boop 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 de boop boop on the radar thing, and then I exploded because I committed a little bit too soon. Where I think for most people, just like the fact that you don't really understand or see the way that you lose means that this game mode, as far as like a feedback loop, is kind of dog shit. It's the same thing that I had with the RRB thing of like playing the Rafale. Like, yeah, I did good in first person, and I was better than, 99.9 whatever 95% of people, or whatever the stat shark says. I didn't learn shit from it. I didn't feel like I was progressing. I didn't feel like I was doing anything. Like, I just felt like I was doing the thing of like grandma. Like, I got my social security check, I got 8 micas in the mail, and I'm gonna sit at the slot machine, I'm gonna roll the dice, I'm gonna pull the lever until I hit the jackpot, and when I hit the jackpot, my dopamine's gonna go up, and that's it. And I think that's kind of the point I think we've reached with top tier and pseudo top tier, where people are just pulling the lever, pull the lever, crunk, pull the lever, and then dopamine, but you die too many times, and that's negative dopamine, and that means you go to the next game. It also means that because this game mode is relatively unexplored, because EC just kind of exists in a vacuum where half the objectives just complete themselves. Like, there's maps in EC where if you spawn on the wrong side, you just lose. Like, I think Denmark is a pretty good example of this, where if you are not on the blue side, good luck, you can win it, but you have to be there from the inception of the game and actually dedicate yourself to winning it. Where EC, as a game mode, for top tier, it could be good. It could be good if there was impact, if it felt like you were having impact. Right now, though, your impact is vertical notching, using the best play of the game, shitting on everything else, making everyone quit, and then you win. That's it. That's all you have to do. And because normal players aren't going to dedicate as much time to this as I have, or any of the other people that know life this game mode, it means that the best and easiest way to deal with this is just go to the next game, find the one that you want, and if that doesn't happen, just quit the game and go do something else. I mean, it's kind of like, permanently speaking, because we've had 6 to 7 months of stagnation, the game mode's not dead, and it's not ever going to completely die. But right now, it's not on life support, but holy fucking shit, it should be rolled into the intensive care unit and given a little bit of love and attention. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The reason it's not going to happen is because the traditional gaijin business model of make a new premium, make people have fear of missing out, have the FOMO, and buy that shit is a reliable business model. It happens every time. You look at anything on StatShark, and you look at what the most popular plane is, it's going to be whatever is premium, whatever helps you grind through the tech tree, and you have to consider all those planes are $60 to $80. Those, every time you see a player in those planes that is unique in a one-off, they spend $80 on it. They spend $60 on it. They spend a lot of money for something that amounts to a copy-paste, which, as long as this business model continues working, as long as this is the most efficient way of kind of gaining money with no effort, means that we're not going to see any development in the game mode. And I think in a lot of ways, they understand this, we understand this, because we do have the ability to make better game modes. We have custom missions, we have the ability to do that, or we had it and then they kind of fucked it up, but we'll assume by the time I release this video, it'll come back and we'll be able to do it. We have the ability to make better game modes, and I've done it. I've used better game modes in the past, and the problem with better game modes is because there's no rewards, because there's no randomized chance of being good or not, because going into it whether or not your opponents are going to be good, bad, or otherwise. that these game modes don't have the same dopamine addiction that you get from just shitting on people in random games, which is unfortunate because game companies have figured out the fucking solution, and we're here and we're like fucking crack addicts, and it fucking sucks. And it actually, like, as much as I want to be angry about it, like, I participated and I promote it technically, and I haven't promoted my custom specialized like 4v4 game mode where blah 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 blah, where we do blah blah blah, because at the end of the day I realized that the game is just a dopamine dispenser. It is really no different than going to the casino, putting your social security check into a slot machine, and pulling the lever until you get a good outcome that makes you feel good, where you hit the jackpot and you get to cash in $15,000 after spending, I don't know, maybe $25,000 trying to get it to that point. The only thing that you remember is you hit it rich, you got the jackpot, you did really good, you picked the right machine, you knew exactly what was going on, you had a lot of skill, and that really is what War Thunder is for most people. Basically randomizing the outcome, making some kind of randomized input, basically in Air RB especially. If you just go up and shoot 8 missiles and you do it often enough and you do it at 8 different targets, you'll eventually get like a 5 to 6 kill game. It's not that hard. It's just kind of, it's not completely randomized. There is an element of skill to it, but that element of skill is very, very minimal for most people. Most people are kind of going into a lot of these games just completely blind, and the game isn't structured to teach you how to play it. The game isn't structured to teach you how to be good, and kind of the whole premise of the game is that nobody is good. It's also one of the downsides of Sim in the past like year or so, as I've made my channel, as I've like taught more people to focus on the skill related aspects of it, where people have gotten better. The better that the people that are good get, the bigger the gap is for the people that are not so good, that the people that used to be good are no longer good, and when you fight them as a player that is good, they don't want to play anymore. I've actually seen this happen multiple times with kind of like different squadrons. Like when I started out, the Night Stalkers / Reaper squadron, Reaper is Night Stalkers, the same thing, were like bragging about how shit hot they were, how they made Wovie quit the game, which was another like Eco Boy Sim squadron. Wovie a bit gets quit top tier because the Reapers were so good at the top tier when the F-14 was the best thing in the game that they didn't want to deal with it. And now I have my own Discord. I've got my own group of friends. I have basically a bunch of people that have trained with and learned off of each other in the past like year or 2 years, that if we put those people into a game against the old top dog Sim squadrons at top tier in the new top tier, the fucking old guys get fucking slammed. They get obliterated. And when you obliterate them, even when they're in like the best planes in the game, like the Rafale, they quit and they leave. And that just means that everyone else has to get that much better to be competitive. The other kind of downside though too is because all the guys that I've like taught, brought up, raised my babies as because I'm fucking 67 years old and ancient. We play against each other, but we play with each other more than we play against each other. And we have all adopted, it's kind of like really cynical outlook of like, what if we just ruin the game for everyone? Which is probably why you're going to see even more dedicated 2-person, 3-person Rafale squads spread out into every single lobby in this next update. Because why don't we just kill the game mode? It'll be funny. Anyways, that's the Beer Thunder video. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it with that ominous warning.